Hello, welcome to Souls Intersect. This reading is for Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising signs, and it is focused on March of 2017. I'll take you through the cards first. From the top left, we have the Three of Swords, the Knight of Swords, and the Three of Cups. And then in the center, the Two of Wands, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Six of Pentacles. And then on the bottom, Temperance, Seven of Pentacles, and Nine of Pentacles. I do sense a theme that has to do with finances, money, home life, security in that sense, and the Ten of Pentacles being at the center. So that's a really good omen for anything to do with those subjects I mentioned. It does feel like things around you, at least for the time being, are quite stable, and if it doesn't feel that way, I feel that that's on the way. Or it may be so, even if it doesn't necessarily feel like that to you. I do pick up on a little bit of worry. The Three of Swords, Knight of Swords, and Three of Cups at the top is interesting. It seems like there could be some disappointment around. Well, I'm definitely sensing some eagerness. There's a few scenarios here. It could be something as minor as being disappointed about having spent money on something, some kind of occasion with that Three of Cups, maybe a wedding or maybe even like a trip. It feels like something that was done for fun, so something more celebratory or for leisure. And so that might sound kind of minor, but I feel like it's on your mind a lot. I feel like in a way you're beating yourself up about it. And that might be why some of this finances stuff is coming up. The reason I think that you're so bothered by it is because, again, I'm getting that impression that things are not as unstable as you feel they are. Looking at, a bank account, it might not look that way, but I really feel like, number one, help is on the way for some of you, and number two, you've been wise in other ways. So even if somehow your account is not reflecting, and again, this is very specifically about money for some of you, but even if your account is not reflecting the stability that you're looking for, I feel that you've been wise in other ways at planning ahead so that you might not actually see the money, but there may be something you've invested in or just been wise about. So even like avoiding something like insurance, for example. You've been really good at that stuff, and that is going to pay off eventually. At the very least, you'll see the benefit of some past decisions in preventing something. But the Six of Pentacles and the 10 are great together. It does feel, too, that some of this may have to do with a partnership, that two people have been really careful with saving and good with money. And even put their heads together creatively to find ways to save or plan. And some of it also feels like it's really directly reflecting your abilities, Virgo. I see you coming up as this Nine of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. Definitely things about saving money and using your abilities and your skills, most likely in work for this subject, in to again plan and be careful and save. I get the sense that this is coming up in the reading because you're not seeing it. That top row is showing me that maybe you're focused on something more immediate that could have been, an event that you spent money on. Some of you even a wedding. It might not have even been that recent. That's how much I think you might be beating yourself up, that maybe you felt a little bit worried recently about not having as much as you would have liked in a certain situation, or you may have a big event coming up that you want to have more money for or more security around, and you're very fixated, I get the sense, on those specifics, but the bigger picture is reflected below, and it shows how careful you are and how you'll continue to be. Some of you also may be expecting, especially the Seven of Pentacles in this deck and then the Three of Cups, that could be why you're worried on some level. You could be expecting a child, pregnant, or have a partner who's pregnant, and be really fixated on that. It could be that the time is approaching, it's nearing, and you have more concerns about being able to not only have that security for yourself, but provide that security for another. So there's a disconnect here, and it does seem to be between fixating on something very acute and not noticing the overall picture, not believing it maybe for some of you, or not even seeing it, that you're very capable and careful, and you've planned in the past and you will in the future. And that doesn't mean that there'll never be a bottleneck or obstacle, but you are very you're in good standing. You're grounded, and that is reflective of your sign, the earth nature of your sign. This month it seems like maybe you're not as earthy this month. It feels like you are getting a little bit too much in that mental space with that Three of Swords and the Knight of Swords. It's not the Nine of Swords with all of that worry, or I don't sense conflict or fighting or anything like that with the Five of Swords, or even confusion, but it's just a little bit of being too hard on yourself and thinking a little too much in the short term around this stuff. So very money oriented. But I want to zoom out for a moment and see if any other messages come through about other subject areas. I do sense for some of you that disappointment, that Three of Swords, may be regarding a heartbreak. It often comes up for that, as you know. In terms of a relationship, it may be with this Knight of Swords person. So this person feels, to me, ungrounded. They could be an air sign. I feel that maybe they've made some sort of hasty decision. And it might involve another party with that Three of Cups. Sometimes that has to do with three people being involved, a love triangle, something along those lines. I don't sense that this is something upcoming, so this feels like, if it resonates, it's going to be something that likely has already happened, because the state of mind right now is that this has taken place and you are feeling the sharpness and pain of it, but kind of a similar theme where I don't think you're quite yet seeing that in the long run how beneficial it is. And when I say that, I know it can be, it's common sometimes to hear that if something has ended, that it's for the best, or it was meant to be, or something like that, and even that someone else may be better for you and may be coming along. So I don't want it to sound cliche, but I do really see here that this person is not ready to have what you are looking for. And I think that you are looking for this Ten of Pentacles stability and situation. So it's going to hurt right now. And similar theme to the last subject, which is that you're very fixated on that right now, the recent events and the acuteness of all of this. But there's something better down the line that will, a partnership with someone with closer, more similar values to you. In fact, they may be another earth sign. All of those pentacles together, they may also be someone that you work with. You might not expect to meet someone at work, but it might actually happen. Or they may be an earth sign, because all that Pentacles energy feels very different from that Knight of Swords energy that I think is about this other person. If this reading is about another person, a recent interaction with another person for some of you. I also sense that with Temperance and the Two of Wands, and this is general overall, coming up in the same column as the Three of Swords, I'm feeling that there's something to do with balancing things in some way. The number two can very much be about that. And in this case, I don't think it's finances. I think that that stuff is in the Pentacles cards, and it's a Wands energy. So it's fire, and I'm just seeing these two wands balancing each other out, and then the Temperance energy coming in with you can see her balancing the liquid. And you often see Temperance as having one foot on the ground and one foot in the water, and it can be about balancing things between two worlds, essentially, like the 3D world and the spirit world. So coming up in this column with the Three of Swords, I'm feeling like there's been some kind of opening for some of you, which might be why some of that acute mental energy is getting to you more than it usually does, being that you're very grounded generally, for the most part, at least, as the general energy of your sign. If you are expecting, it could be that this opening has occurred because of that. Oftentimes, when we're carrying another life inside of us, we can have a spiritual awakening. Our crown chakra can be opened. We can be more connected to the spirit world, because essentially we are closer to spirit by literally having a being that is fresh from spirit within us. If you believe that, that's how I see it. And that can create an opening. And I feel like that's happening for some of you. I also feel that the connection, if it is about a child, is a very strong karmic and spiritual connection. So if you're feeling that things mentally have been a little bit more chaotic for you than usual, taking Temperance into account is really important for you this month. Especially if there's been a spiritual awakening, and it doesn't have to necessarily be in regard to carrying a child. It could just be that this has happened for others of you, because you're at that point on your karmic path, although it could have been some sort of event. It could have just been this change that's happened maybe with this Knight of Swords person, if that was a person for you. It's also possible that some of you, this might be very specific, with the Three of Cups and that Knight of Swords, the hasty decision that I felt coming through earlier might have been to do with a drug of some kind, like LSD or something. Someone watching this may have experimented with something recently, perhaps something more natural than that. That might have created an opening. And there may be some sorrow from that with the Three of Swords, like a coming down from that. I feel that everything will be fine. I think that the mental state will sort out. But if that resonates with you, I feel that there's been an opening. So you've opened up and connected with spirit more. So taking any kinds of precautions about balancing things, asking for more protection, trying to work with your guidance more. And this also goes for you if it is to do with a pregnancy, because being so connected to another being, from this point in your life going forward, you still need protection. You still have to focus on yourself first before you can be any good to anyone, essentially. So that Temperance is coming in for you Virgos this month, to call upon you to learn ways to balance between the spirit world and the physical world, because I do sense that there's been an opening. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up here. If you have any questions about this, feel free to email me at soulsintersect@gmail.com. I've rewritten a lot of the content on my website, and it describes in detail my approach and some more information about my services. So feel free to take a look at that. The address is below, and the address to book a reading is also below. You may have to copy and paste those addresses. I hope you have a good month of March. Take care.